Hello, potato. Do you know what time it is? It's breakfast time. Now, normally breakfast time videos are about a food item, something new or weird, or at least new or weird to me, maybe totally pedestrian to you, depending on where you're from and what your life experience is. But to me, it's something new. But today, we are not focusing on the what of what we are eating. We are instead focusing on the way we're cooking it. See, I like chicken eggs. Fried eggs, hard-cooked eggs, deviled eggs, egg salad, chopped egg, a fried egg sandwich, fried eggs on a burger, breakfast burritos, spam, bean eggs, and spam. I am down for chicken eggs. But when I make fried chicken eggs, I like my yolk to be runny, but I like my white to be cooked. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's easy. You make an over-easy egg, you flip it over a bit, get that white done, flip it back before the yolk fully hardens. But the problem is, I simply can't do it. I don't know if it's just that my non-stick pan that I like to use is admittedly not so non-stick anymore, or if I just lack some basic cooking skill to fry an egg properly. Which means I generally do my eggs sunny side up, but that creates the problem of the white. Yes, it leaves your yolk nice and runny when you cut into it, but the white is also frequently nice and runny, and I don't want a runny white. So there are ways around this. You just put the lid on the skillet and steam it a bit. That works fine, but then you have to clean the lid too. And I think, and maybe maybe the other eggs I'm cooking aren't over easy or sunny side up. What do I do then? Well, the folks at Joseph think they have the answer for me, and the answer is froaching. So today we're going to check out the Joseph Froach Pods, 2 silicone egg rings. I have silicone egg rings, are the kind you crack an egg into them if you want a perfectly round egg to put like on an English muffin or make a sandwich out of, and that's ultimately what they're for. And that's kind of what these are too, but these are supposed to also steam the egg. They say they use 95% less oil, cook top and bottom of egg, perfect results. It's the healthier way to fry eggs. And the oil thing kind of puzzled me. But then I thought, I do lubricate the pan. I do put a little olive oil in there. And yeah, you can come at me in the comments about using olive oil to fry eggs in. But it makes the eggs a little bit easier to work with. And ultimately, I think it adds a nice flavor, a nice crispiness around the edges that you don't necessarily get otherwise. And I wondered, how am I using less oil? And I realized I think the answer is supposed to be, and it's not really in the instructions, but I would just put enough oil in here just to lubricate the single egg and not have to coat the entire bottom of the pan. I honestly don't know, because the instructions actually, I don't think, say anything about oil. According to the instructions, all we need to do is crack the egg into the little hole on top here. And yes, this is partially open. This is the way it came. Actually, I found this on clearance at World Market for $5. I thought, we will try them, because if I can get the whites of my egg to cook and I have to clean the whole top of the pan, it might be worth it. So you crack an egg into it, add 3 to 5 tablespoons of water into the little reservoir, so on the side here. And then just let it go for 2-3 minutes, and I should have a perfectly cooked egg. I will not be doing the tomato. I don't care for tomatoes. Now I'm trying to see if it says anything on here about oil, and it really doesn't seem to. Dishwasher safe, only suitable for non-stick pans. I guess don't use this in cast iron. Please note that not all pans are perfectly flat. Some water may leak from the base during cooking. Simply top the water reservoir as necessary. We therefore recommend cooking other foods separately. It says nothing about oil in here. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to try, since we have 2 of them, I'll try one with a little oil in it and one with no oil in it and see what happens. And I will have to do some oil in it. I think we'll do a control egg as well, the way I would normally cook it. And then we kind of get some idea of time and doneness. I don't know. I really don't have much of a plan on this. We don't plan things here at Void of Intelligence. But my plan at this point right now is that we're going to go into the Void Space kitchen, the kitchen of Void Manor. I'm going to give these things a good, nice wash, and we're going to froach us some eggs. So if you will come with me to the kitchen, we'll leave the Void Space and go to the Void Manor kitchen. Okay, so we're in the Void Space kitchen now, which means you may get some, some less than optimal lighting and sound, and also you get to make it see my socks periodically in the shot because of the way the burner is. So while I'm waiting for this to finish heating up, let's take a look at the Froaching pod. So yeah, as you can see, it's a perfectly round, well, more or less perfectly round, perfectly enough for government work, round cylinder, like mold for your egg. Sorry to hit the camera there. And then we have the little reservoir you can put the water in, which, as you can see here, or maybe you can see, doesn't come up all the way to the top. So the water should steam up, come over the top of the egg and cook that white. So we're going to do, I think this is probably hot enough now. We're going to do 3 eggs. We're going to do 1, just kind of the way it says in the instructions, no oil, no lubrication. 1 with a little oil, and then I'm going to do 1 kind of control the way I would normally do it, with also a little bit of oil, which I have to be careful because normally I would just coat the whole bottom of the skillet, but obviously I can't do that because I'm just wanting to get the 1 egg, and I want to make sure that one up here does not. Now I've tried to center the pan over the flame as best as possible to ensure even cooking, but you know, I mean, you know how that goes. So put a little bit of oil down here for our normal egg. Put a little bit of oil in here for our oil egg, which of course it's, the pan is not perfectly flat, as the warnings said it might not be. So let's see if we can kind of keep this oil over here. So I've just kind of made an oily smiley face. Let's see if we can kind of direct that back over to where I want it. And yeah, the oil smells good and hot already, so I do think the pan is hot enough. So let's get cooking. So I've pre-cracked the eggs because ideally I want there to not be a huge time difference as I'm like struggling to crack the eggs. So here is our normal Froaching egg. All right, here is our oiled Froaching egg. Well, it definitely goes through the hole nice and easily. Not that you can see because my hand was like right in front of it the whole time. And then our control egg will be right over down here. And then I have 4 tablespoons of water that I'm going to add to my, it says 3 to 5, but it doesn't really seem to fit 3 to 5 of water at the same time. And yeah, I definitely have some water leakage going on this one. I feel like 3 to 5 is probably a bit much. And then it said it should just take 2 to 3 minutes. Definitely get some nice bubbling action on our non-oiled egg there. Also making a mess, probably splattering on the lens of the camera, which is not fantastic. I think I'm going to stop there with the water. I don't know how much I used, but it definitely wasn't the full 4 tablespoons. And yeah, I've got a lot of water leakage here. It does say tablespoons, not teaspoons, right? 3 to 5. Yeah, it says tablespoons, not teaspoons. Yeah, there's no way that was ever going to hold maybe more than 1 tablespoon at a time. I mean, that's why it says to top off as needed. So we're going to give this another, what it said should take 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to give it another minute and a half, and then we'll see where we're at. Okay, 90 seconds have passed, and so that should be about 3 minutes on this. Let's get some nice, I don't know if you can see on the camera, there's some nice like boiling action going on from where all the water has ended up. The oiled egg has not been doing this real like sizzling action. A lot of foam coming out of top, that I'm sure you can see. So I'm not sure if we're gonna get more of a poached consistency egg out of this one, but it does look like the white has steamed over, at least on this one. Let's pull the tops off and take a look at our Froached eggs. And yeah, that's our oil egg. And that does appear to have nicely cooked over the top, kind of what I would want. Here's our non-oiled one. That one's a little hard to get because there's so much steam coming out of it. And also, maybe a little bit more done, I think maybe because there's some more water in that one. And then here's our controlled egg, which, as you can see, does not have... I mean, the white is actually cooked, I think, suitably. This is edible. I think that actually came out pretty good too. I mean, the white's definitely not as cooked as those ones. Now, can we get our non-oil egg off of here? That's the tricky bit. And it seems like it. It's definitely leaving. We're definitely leaving some egg on the pan here that I'm gonna have to clean out at the end. The white does feel like kind of a poached consistency. Feels very like, I don't know, like gummy and fragile. Here's our oil egg. That came off a lot cleaner. Of course, it's stuck to the spatula. There we go. So I think the oil egg looks like it came out better. But yeah, if you don't want to use oil, the just water egg, it's sticking something awful. I mean, look at the residue leaving on the bottom of a non-stick pan. It's sticking to, but I feel like the yolk in that is going to be overdone. And then we have our control egg, which honestly came out better than I thought it would. I thought we would have a lot more white on the top. I'm going to turn the heat off. And yeah, I feel like the yolk in that one's going to be a little overdone. I think maybe got too much steam in it. That one looks like it'll probably be about perfect. And honestly, for not using the Froaching pot at all, our control egg I think came out really well. But let's head back to the void space, cut them open, and see what they're like. And we are back now in the void space. I have our eggs in the same arrangement they were in the pan. We have here the no lubrication water only egg, which definitely does have a nice like poached look to it on the outside, but I feel like that yolk is going to be overdone. It feels very, very firm. I used about the same water in both, but this one did seem to be boiling up a lot more. And this was about 3 minutes, maybe a little bit more, depending on how much time it was before I set that 90-second timer. Over here we have our oil egg, which I feel like more of the egg came with it. What's the bottom look like on this? It's a nice fried bottom. This one, it's pretty white. I don't think I can get it on camera. But I think it's just because a lot of the brown stayed in the pan, as well, because of the oil, the brown actually like fried the egg a bit, and it came out. And then here was our control egg the way I would normally make it. Maybe a little oilier. Nice brown bottom. Yolk looks actually perfect. This actually came out better than they usually do. I figured I'd have to let this one go a little bit longer to get the white cooked. But I think the white is about where I would normally want it. So let's cut into these and see where we're at. So here is our water only egg. And so it's it's definitely more done than I would have wanted. Let's see if we can get you a closer look at it here. It is totally firmed up. Oh, let's get some more light on it. There we go. Now you can see better. That's kind of wouldn't be bad for a hard cooked egg, but it's a little overdone for what I want from this. Now let's try our oil egg. I feel like this one's going to be, this one's got some runny yolk action going on in it. Could maybe have gone a little, like maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds less, but it is runny. There's still some jelly in there. That's pretty good. I mean, this is the first try on this, so it obviously will take me a few eggs to really dial in how I want to do this. But I feel like the oil one came out really well because not a lot of the water stayed in it. It didn't boil as much. I don't know how much of that has to do with the oil and how much just has to do with the fact that that one, I guess, was on a flat, I guess it was on a less flat part of the pan because the water kind of came out of that one immediately as we're kind of stayed in that one. And then here's our control egg, which is nice and runny. That's like exactly what I would want to get out of my my fried egg. But still, I think the Froach Pod is not bad. It's maybe not the be-all and end-all of egg cooking for the future. And maybe that's why it was on clearance for $5 at World Market. But it did work. It worked exactly. It did what I would want it to do, which is get that white to actually kind of white over. Because we don't have like any white over on the yolk here. But we do over here. But this yolk did actually, this white came out about the way I would want it. Is there any taste difference? I can't imagine there would be. But let's try. Oh, there might be because there's no oil. So the oil would make a difference. Let's try our non-oiled Froached egg. I mean, yeah, it's an egg. The white is very soft and pillowy. Very delicate feeling. I mean, kind of like you get from a poached egg, but not quite so slimy as a poached egg tends to be. Let's try our oil egg. I feel like we have a little bit of different texture. Yeah, we definitely have a lot more browning on the bottom here. Yeah, the white's a lot firmer on this one, not as pillowy, not as poached feeling. It feels more fried. And these are all unseasoned, by the way, so they also don't taste much more than just egg. The yolk, yeah, the yolk's a little more done than I would have thought was perfect. But you know, this wouldn't be bad on a sandwich. And let's just try our control. Which of course has a spread all out. It's got the nice crispy edge to it. Let's give that a try. Honestly, just about perfect. It does taste, I can taste the oil more in it because again, I haven't seasoned it at all. So I can definitely taste the oil more because I'm getting that crispy edge here. It does not have quite the pillowiness of these two, especially not of this one. But you get that crispy, kind of lacy edge that you don't get on the other two. So, and that does capture more of the oil flavor that this one didn't really have, and of course this one didn't have at all. Now, honestly, I may have put maybe just a little too much oil in this. So I think the best one here actually is our oiled Froach Pod. Not that it was a competition of like necessarily which way is the best, but I wanted to see the effect the difference of oil would have. And the oil definitely has a different effect. I feel like maybe placement of the pan has something to do with it, but this definitely was a lot harder to get out of the pan. Being just in water, it does have a more pillowy texture. Again, the bottom, because all that brown fried part kind of stuck to the bottom of the pan. So we don't have a real fried looking bottom here. It looks more poached, as where our oil egg got kind of seared a little bit more. So we have a rougher texture down here, and then of course, you know, the standard fried in oil egg has a very similar look to it, but because we have this thinner area here, this lacy edge that got to spread out, it's much crispier, but also picked up more of the oil, or if you use butter or margarine, it's going to pick up more of that. So yes, if I just wanted to make fried eggs, not have to oil the whole pan, this would actually work really well. This came out pretty much perfect. Except maybe about 20 seconds less, just a little bit less time. Keep an eye on it, and when I see the top start to white over, that's when I should take it off the heat. I just left it on the heat a little too long. That's my fault, not the Froach Pod, and of course just inexperience. But this did work. I mean, for $5. For $5, I really have no complaints. Say I got some oil on it or something. I have no. I don't get this 3 to 5 tablespoons of water thing. It definitely did not need 3 to 5 tablespoons of water. Maybe teaspoons. Maybe that's a mistype. But yeah, I didn't use even 4 tablespoons of water. I used maybe 3, and even then, most of that kind of ran out into the pan. So it did work the way I was hoping it would work, though. So I mean, that is pretty good. I probably will put these into more use, especially if I'm cooking with my wife, who doesn't like as much oil in her eggs. Actually, she's freaking like some scrambled, but she doesn't like the oil as much as I do. So this could be a good way also of maybe trying to keep less oil on her eggs and kind of keep mine more the way I want. I just don't get that. I won't get that nice spread. I won't get that spread out or that crispy, lacy edge. But I feel like that's a decent enough trade. And if I'm putting this on like on a sandwich or something, because I do like to have my egg on a piece of ciabatta or something, this would be a good way of doing that. It was no faster. It is going to be a little bit more to clean up, but I'm quite happy with the results. It worked exactly the way I hoped it would. Well, before my eggs completely go cold, I'm going to go finish my breakfast here. I hope you found this all interesting or entertaining. These were the Joseph Froach Pods. And yeah, I got them on clearance at World Market. Your price may vary. So I hope you found this all interesting or entertaining. If you did, go ahead, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.